Well, good Saturday morning, everyone, and greetings once again from Radio Wasteland Records here in Midland. Happy May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Is that how we're supposed to say and what we're supposed to do here? Yeah, it used to mean something for me because I was a child in the 70s and a teen in the 80s. So I kind of grew up with that, but I kind of lost my taste for the whole Star Wars thing around about the time that evil planet ruled by a evil mouse emperor overtook the Star Wars galaxy. Sorry, we won't go there, but happy May 4th. And if you want to celebrate, still be free to. But the only thing we had in stock, we tried getting a few other things, but the only thing we ended up in stock was a copy of the Mako's Star Wars and Other Galactic Funk. If you've not heard this absolute masterpiece from 1977, picture the cheesiest orchestral disco that you could possibly imagine, and then put that to the Star Wars theme. But not just that, there's other galactic funk. Oh, well, no, this one, I take it back. I listened to this before, but it's been a while. Side 1 is all Star Wars, and side 2 is simply labeled Other Galactic Funk by Mako. So it is quite truly the cheesiest of disco interpretations there are out there. But we got that. Just in case that's not enough, we also had a Miko copy of The Wizard of Oz. There are disco interpretations of that is somehow even cheesier than the Wiz soundtrack. So both of those are there if you need to. But anyway, happy Saturday, however you choose to celebrate the 4th of May. Please feel free to do so. Let's get a couple of quick hellos out there this morning. Betty in Toledo saying hi and happy Saturday to you. Gary checking in saying good morning and good morning to you as well. And Kristen, hey Kristen, how are you? Good morning to you as well. Dan checking in. He picked up a Thelonious Monk yesterday. Music on vinyl. It sure does sound fantastic. That is very, very cool, sir. I got to send you a message also, Dan. We found something else for you, but I'll drop you a message here in a bit. Tyler, good morning. Yeah, the Cantina. You're talking the original Cantina one or the disco interpretation of the Cantina band, because it's equally disco fanatical about that as well. Pat saying he's down by the river. Are you in a van, perchance, Pat, down by the river? Good morning to you as well. Let's see. Tony saying good morning, sir, as well. Tyler's chiming in with both. Okay, enough of the Star Wars stuff out there. It's a Michigan spring day, a little cloudy. There was some rain, felt like in the air, fog this morning. Supposed to get a little sunnier, so we'll see what happens, and hopefully that does as well. Karen, happy Saturday to you. Thank you for being here. Good morning to you. But yeah, it should be a decent weekend. But you know what? It's always a good weekend to head out and go to your local record store and check it out and pick up some cool new and vintage vinyl. Speaking of new and vintage vinyl, but before we speak of that, we have got kind of a new product here in the store, and I saved it till today to kind of tell you folks about, see what you think about it. Through a 2 degrees of separation of mutual friend, this gentleman by the name of Brett from a place called Lakeshore Gift. He's got an Etsy store. He's out a little bit further south and east of here. Contacted us and talked about the possibility of carrying some of his 3D printed, I'm gonna have to hold this up just right here, 3D printed album mounts for wall mounts. They're little wall brackets for there. See if I can hold that up just right. That's what that looks like. And so, I got a hold of one of them. We checked it out. I haven't mounted it, so I could show it to you guys, obviously. But we ended up getting a few packets of that in, and they're fairly affordable. But yeah, these are 3D printed. Brett makes them himself, so it's real high quality. And I should be more familiar, but I'm not as familiar with the whole 3D printing thing as I probably should be. But it is a material called PLA, which is a 3D printing plastic material, very high grade. These things are tough. They don't really bend or move or anything there, but a very high quality 3D print. It seems very sturdy, got a little lip, and it will mount against the wall, either with a little wood screw, or you could actually probably use one of those adhesive strips if you wanted to as well. So what we've got is several different colors of these, rather, not styles. This one, if you can see it, is actually pretty cool. It's kind of a black, what is it called here? Like a black with little flecks of metal in there. So it's kind of a cool looking thing. Sparkles, if you will. Then we have just a regular flat black. I should mention that we are selling these in 4-packs, and a 4-pack for 15 bucks. So this is another one of those metal, black with metal sparkly ones. We've got a complete flat black one, and these, again, packages of 4, and it comes with 4 wood screws for that 15 bucks. Then we've got a couple packs of the white. I'm going to open one of these up and put a couple albums up on the wall here at the store with the white ones. And then there is, what is this called? A gold silk. So kind of a goldish color one as well. So we got 4 different colors to choose from on these. You know what? Hang on. I need to get the video thumbnail. YouTube, we're talking about this, so I have to get the thumbnail just right. Is that how you do YouTube thumbnails? Trying to remember, but very cool. And we do have limited quantities of these brackets in store now. If you're interested, come down. We'll have one out. We'll have one up on the wall. You can take a look to see how they work. But essentially, you're going to mount it on the wall, and the album will just sit on there and rest up against the wall, and you can display it as well. So very cool. If these run out, we can get more. But Lakeshore Gift on Etsy. It's not gifts, but gift on Etsy. If you look Brett's store up, he's got a lot of other collectible mounts that they print as well. Things for like sports cards, baseballs, hockey pucks, you name it. There's all sorts of memorabilia, display brackets, and mounts that they make on there. But we got the album ones, of course. So check that out if you're curious. We'll make a couple of posts on these down the line once I get one mounted up in the store as well. All right, let's see here. A couple of other ones. Denny checking in from Underground Records over in Alma. Go check Denny out. He picked up a Peter Gabriel box set. Very cool to hear as well. And Kevin, happy Saturday from Bridgeport. It is also, okay, it's National Homebrew Day, so check out, make sure you check out Kevin's homebrew channel on there as well on YouTube. Okay, a couple of new releases to get to you guys today. The first being not actually new, but officially new. Back on Record Store Day, some of you may remember that we had some copies of the new album from the band Hollowhead. And this is featuring a Midland native. They're a Colorado band now, but Midland native Jimmy Adame. He had contacted us before Record Store Day and asked if we wanted to have a special preview offer of their new album, which officially released on the 1st, so a couple days ago. But he offered this to us back at the end of April if we wanted to move some. So some of you, I think maybe 4 or 5 lucky folks, got this album ahead of time, but now it is officially released, and we do have some copies in store. One was open for quality control purposes. Really great rock and roll from Hollowhead. We put up a link on the social on Facebook yesterday. If you want to check it out, you can listen to their stuff on Bandcamp. You can probably find them on Facebook. I think we tagged them on Facebook as well. And look for them on YouTube as well. But Bandcamp in particular, you can check their music out. And if you dig it, then we have got, I think, 4 copies of Hollowhead. Their brand new self-titled. The hype sticker on there calls them an independent rock band with energy reminiscent of 90s alternative, incorporating garage rock and modern folk influences. And I will agree with that assessment. Thank you, Mr. Hype Sticker. You are spot on that one. So if you didn't get one of these on Record Store Day after you heard us hyping it up a bit, we do have some copies here in the store, limited, but we can probably get some more of them. Okay, another Michigan-related release. I forgot to look up some more info on this. This was actually new, I think, probably about a month ago, but immediately was late or on back order. It was an import. This is Sir Richard Bishop. It's a guitarist who moved to Arizona, and I forget the band that he was with out there, but he has released a solo album after all these years called Saginaw Racket. Now, this guitarist, Richard Bishop, before he was knighted, apparently somewhere, grew up in Saginaw, and this is kind of an album of reminiscent of his time learning to play guitar in Saginaw. I believe it was probably in the late 60s, early 70s. Now, this is kind of experimental noise music. If you're not quite used to that, you would probably want to look this one up and give it a listen. But it's interesting stuff. So the track list on here, it is a double LP with 4 songs on it. So double LP with only 4 songs. So it's 1 song per side. We get side A is Tri-City Dragway. Side B is Banks of the Tittabawassee, clocking in at 19 minutes. C is The House of Foam Rubber. And then D is Ghosts of East Genesee. So check that out online. We have got 1 copy of this. I don't know, as tough as it was to get this, we might be able to land some more, but we'll see if this one goes. Sir Richard Bishop, and the album is Saginaw Racket. And I believe that's a fairly descriptive title for what we're getting on that one as well. Okay, other stuff that came in, I believe this was a week ago, but everything's been running late for some reason as they catch up. We've got a Genesis Turn It On Again. This is a vinyl reissue of their greatest hits album that was released 25 years ago. On vinyl for the first time, as we mentioned, double LP. It goes all the way back to the Gabriel era with a few songs, and then dives into the Phil Collins era with a lot of other stuff, as well as their top 40 hits. So double LP, Genesis Greatest Hits. Also reissued yesterday is REO Speedwagon's High Infidelity. This one, I believe I read, was remastered, but this is on sea glass color vinyl. One of those guilty pleasure albums from the 80s that I sort of kind of remember. Actually, I do. It's a good album. So we got a couple copies of that. Some Record Store Day stuff in a little bit late, or restocked rather. We got another copy of Frank Zappa for President from Record Store Day. We got another copy of the Rolling Stones live at the Racket in New York City. Speaking of the Stones, I should have called a graphic up on this, but they just kicked off their North American tour a couple of days ago in Texas for their Hackney Diamonds tour. Rolling Stones 2024 tour. And I watched this little promo video on the Rolling Stones channel. It was cool. They're very quick edits, trying to make them look as youthful and energetic as possible with all of their backup band. But you still got Mick and Keith and Ronnie Wood on there kicking it out. But at the very end of the video, it said Rolling Stones 2024 Hackney Diamonds Tour brought to you by AARP. And I thought that was absolutely either the greatest marketing stunt in the world or an expert baby boomer troll. Either way, the AARP is sponsoring the Rolling Stones 2024 tour. Take that as you will. Okay, one other RSD came in a little bit late. We got one copy of 5 Live Yardbirds. So this is, I think, going to be it. A lot of the other Record Store Day stuff is now depleted if you need to get that. A couple of other releases of note that dropped yesterday in our video drop. A couple of unofficial copies. Some will call them bootlegs. Rush, The Spirit of the Airwaves. I've got an open copy of this. Have had it for years. Phenomenal sounding double LP live. Recorded in 1980 from a Missouri radio broadcast. Some great 80s Rush, if you're not curious on that. And this one, I got a couple copies of this, and then it promptly disappeared from our distributor. This is Pink Floyd live at Pompeii, but it says it's a radio broadcast. Now, I've talked about boots, or I've usually fairly up on these, and I do have an original, if you will, bootleg of the Pompeii soundtrack, and I'll use that air quote on there. And I don't recall there ever being a radio broadcast unless that bootleg was then broadcast somewhere else. We'll open a copy of this up to check the audio quality, but as I recall, the Pompeii recordings, since they came from the film, were actually pretty good. So side note, just in case you're curious, and gee, it's almost like we're planning this thing on the podcast tomorrow with Steve Carlson from the Vinyl Community. Steve and I will be talking about bootleg albums, unofficial albums, and counterfeit albums. So we'll have all that stuff in there, but a nice discussion with Steve tomorrow on unofficial albums and or bootlegs, whatever you wish to call them. I'll try to get more. It's a double LP, but I'll also make sure we try to give it a listen to see if I can get some grasp on the audio quality of that, because it can be hit or miss sometimes, as you know, with bootleg albums. So, all right, I think that will just about do it. We're up on time. I'm going to go ahead and get the turntable spinning. I'd like to say to get the lava lamps, but I've got a couple of bulbs out, so we'll get those fixed. Don't forget, stop by, check out the new album brackets, the wall mount brackets, 3D printed locally here in Michigan. So you can check that out. We do have them again in packs of 4 in 4 different colors if you want to check them out for $15 for a 4-pack. All right. On that note, I will say you guys have a great weekend. Stop by and visit us. We are open today, Saturday, until 6 p.m. and then tomorrow, Sunday, 12 noon until 4 p.m. 716 George Street, just north of downtown Midland. You folks have a great weekend, and we will talk to you next time from Radio Wasteland Records. Thanks again for being here.